Welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Christina.
We are your hosts. Here we are.
We are back and better than ever, and I'm so excited.
I know. New studio.
Yes.
New set.
Yes.
Feeling all spiffy.
This is what I love. Like, Oprah is my all-time, and always seeing what new set she had every year, and it's like, ooh, I'm following Oprah's footsteps.
Well, I definitely like it here, and our new studio is fantastic. We're really happy to be here. And starting season 2, we were off for a little bit. Did you have a good break?
I did. It did a lot of just connecting with me, and I feel like this season is going to see a different side of us on both sides, and I'm excited to see what all this brings for us.
Me too. I had a great break. I saw the granddaughter.
Oh, yes.
She's 9 months old now, and just cute and growing up and is too far away. But so I had a good break too. It was nice to catch up on some other work and plan this season. The theme of this season is
Becoming unstoppable.
And we have a lot of guests planned. We had only about 6 guests last season. I think we're having about 20.
Yes. We'll do, I think, 5 or 6 by ourselves, but the rest is completely booked up with guests.
And they have a variety of different experiences, is entrepreneurs and spiritual mindset people. They'll give us all some actionable tips that we'll be able to use on our journey to being unstoppable.
Yes, and being our truest form of authenticity, and I'm excited for that.
I am
form
too.
Itself, yes.
I am too. We have some great guests coming up, and I think that'll really add a lot to what we have on the podcast.
Oh, yes. It's one thing I've always loved about podcasts is learning and growing from listening to them. So I really feel that our listeners are going to get that. We're giving them a well-diverse of expertise in different areas for becoming unstoppable of what this season is. So I'm excited to see our viewers and seeing what they can learn from us.
I definitely am as well. And we have some live episodes we're going to do and some recording on location that we're going to do. We did a little bit of that this last weekend at Remington Park for Kentucky Derby Day, and that was really fun.
It was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. I'm ready to go back to the horse races, just to participate.
Yeah, everyone said, "Did you win money?" I was working. I didn't get to bet anything. But that was super fun, and we're going to have Kelly O'Hara in studio as a guest later in the season, and we will rewind and air a jockey interview that we had. We interviewed a great ranked female jockey at the Parimutuel horse racing track here in Oklahoma City, so that was great too. So I'm excited about those episodes, which is something new.
Yes. I'm excited. It's always neat to do something outside of the box, and that's what those adventure episodes are really going to do.
They really are. They're a little bit less kind of planned, and you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So I like that
We only got rained on how many times? I
know, right before the jockey interview, it was like pouring down rain. I was like, but...
Hey, it worked. We did the best we could, and that's all that matters.
It always works out.
Oh, yes.
It's like my motto.
Yeah.
So I thought today we would talk a little bit about kind of what becoming unstoppable means to each of us.
Oh, yes.
For me, it's my next step on the journey. It's taken me a long time to really step back into my own skin and be able to do things that only I want to do, which we don't get to do a lot when we have a lot of kids. And if you remember, I raised 5, so they took up a lot of time. And so it's kind of the next step on that for me towards self-care and becoming even more my authentic self and continuing on my spiritual path and my journey in that sense. And the things that are still kind of scary for me, stepping out of my box in those areas, that's the next step for me on my growth.
Well, definitely, and I'm in the prime of raising my children. I'm going to have a senior next year, a kindergarten that actually the homeschool slash private school is my upstairs.
Yikes.
So I'm glad I'm not teaching that. But becoming unstoppable to me is really just coming into my own and what I want to do and the role model that I want to be for my daughter and for my children, to really follow your dreams. And sometimes it's going to be very hard, but that's truly what unstoppable is. You're not letting anything come between you and your truest form of self and who you are supposed to be and what the purpose is on this spiritual journey. And I'm so excited to get the insight of other guests on how they became unstoppable in their areas and really find those vessels of what it truly means with the inner peace and things to become the best form of who I know I can be.
Well, and being unstoppable and being great entrepreneurs in business too, you can't do it without that spiritual side and being your truly authentic self, which takes that inner growth. And a lot of people don't know how to start that. I can remember feeling really unsure about, I want to do it. I don't know how to make that happen. And I think we'll see a lot of different examples of that. You and I did it in different ways. I was thrust there by chaos because I wasn't brave enough to make those choices on my own. And then once you're there, I had been meditating and was spiritual, but really I got to a point where the next step I wasn't taking. And so.
Well, and I agree with that 100% because it's when you are becoming unstoppable, it is hard because you don't know those first steps, but you have to want it. It's kind of like hitting that rock bottom. You can either do the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you can always get that different job. You can always leave the husband or whatever the case may be. But you have to find out who you are to your core. And the only person that can do it is you.
Yep. And that feeling of unfulfillment where you change jobs, you change spouses, you change boyfriend, friends, all of those things, sometimes even location, because you feel unfulfilled. And all of that chasing out here is you really have to find it in here in order to do it. It's scary at first, but it's the only way to become unstoppable. And when I say unstoppable, I mean that it doesn't matter what happens around you. You can stand in your own power and be in control and not change who you are as a reaction to what's happening. It's kind of that entrepreneurial mindset that we talked about last season.
Oh, yes. And it's so funny because that's how we started the podcast, was that entrepreneurial mindset. And, there are, I don't care who you are, there are going to be limiting beliefs. There are going to be times that you fell, that you can't get out of bed, or you self-sabotage. And the biggest thing is confronting those head on. And what do you need to do different when you go back out there and because that truly is the definition of being unstoppable, is you never give up, even when obstacles become in your way.
This is true. This is very true. I think gratitude has a lot to do with it also. If you can't feel gratitude for the things that are happening around you, it's hard to be unstoppable if you can't feel that gratitude. I even feel grateful when something bad happens. It takes me a little bit to come around to it, but I'm always like, I don't regret any of my past. I don't, some of it wasn't great. There's definite moments that I'm not proud of, but they brought me to this place where I am right now, and I like it here. And so I think that's the ultimate thing, is if I can be grateful for the pain and the lessons and grateful for the time it took me to learn the lessons. Because that's the part that's hard to let go of, is thinking, gosh, I'm 57 and I'm just now really building my stuff and finding my way. And I could feel very regretful and very sour grapes about all of that. And it serves me nothing to be able to do that. I'm grateful. I don't regret any of the choices that I made because they brought me here. And I'm wiser. I don't need to learn those lessons anymore. Don't send them any more of
Universe,
those.
I have learned my lesson.
I've learned that. Please don't send me any more of those.
Well, you know me. I the queen of gratitude. I actually sent you something this morning on
You did.
gratitude just because I know how important that is too. Like you said, I am very grateful. I'm not proud of my past. I've done not a lot of good things, but I've also done a lot of good things as well. But it's my past. It's who I am. Doesn't mean I have to make those mistakes again. We learn, we grow. But you're exactly right. I need gratitude for those and learn the lessons because it's only going to give me prosperity in the future.
I think that's a great mindset to have, especially as an entrepreneur. For all of us, we feel like to be unstoppable in my business, I want just revenue and growth and sales and everything to go smoothly. And just like in your personal life, it's never going to be that way. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to try something and, well, that didn't work exactly the way I wanted it to, but I need to shift and do this now. And having that gratitude, those same kind of values and that inner peace with yourself makes those choices so much easier because you don't take them personally.
No,
It's really hard when somebody says, no, I don't want you to be a guest on my podcast, or no, I'm not interested in your services at this point in time, not to take that personally.
we were talking about that yesterday of taking things personally. Somebody might be having a bad day or you don't know what's going on in their life. Give them grace and let them vent, let them do everything, but don't take it in. You don't have to absorb that energy. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to let somebody be who they are, and
Even if it makes you uncomfortable. And
Yes.
I think that fear that if someone's different than me, that feeling, instead of, I feel more curious about it than I do, oh, they're different, and make you fearful about it. But I think that all of those differences make us all so much stronger that it's hard to understand how someone can be so harsh. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And the little girl in me is like, but I'm sorry, I'm trying, I'm doing, but you can't do that. It's so now it goes on me. I'm taking that personally when it shouldn't even be about me because the whole conversation wasn't about me. So that's a big one of coming unstoppable is, being impeccable with your word, no matter what you're doing. Don't take things personally because they're not.
It comes down to integrity.
Yes.
No matter what happens around me, I love Sadhguru. He is one of my favorite. If you've never listened to him, he's a spiritual guru, Hindu, but he's not super tied to any doctrine necessarily. He does talk about it. He's very calm in the way he speaks, and he'll say, that is bullshit, yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
But what I like...
Dustin loves him.
He
Loves
does.
him.
But one of the things that I really liked this lecture was when he talked about this is me, right? And it doesn't matter what happens out here. It doesn't matter who asks me some crazy question. It doesn't matter what happens, what anyone else does. This is who I am. I'm not giving anyone the power to affect that. And I've done such a good job of following that. And then yesterday, it was just like it all just, my mud just all came out. And we were discussing that it was hard not to take things personally, and I felt really edgy from it. It had been a long time since I felt that way.
And that's the most important thing that people need to understand with your journey is you're going to have those setbacks, or you're going to have those, ooh, this was not my best version of self, but being able to recognize that and change it. Like, it's okay, but the most important things is we're recognizing our thoughts and how to change our thoughts, because we're the only ones that know our thoughts.
For me, it wasn't really even my thoughts. It was like that. I used to tell my kids they felt grouchy in their tummy. It's just like that feeling that it's affecting everything. And even after I meditated, I felt a little bit better, but it still was in there. I felt really uncontrollable. And what really made me feel better was we were shooting a television commercial for my regular job, and it being out in the sun and doing that creative work just snapped me right out of it. But I snapped at my dogs. I snapped at you. I was so snappy, and that is typically not part of it. But I think it's an important lesson to realize that we're all going to have bad days. And it had been a long time since I felt that way, but it doesn't go away. We all get frustrated. And part of being unstoppable is having the tools in your toolbox that you're able to come in and figure it out and work through it and have the tenacity to finish. Because I really just wanted to go back to bed. That's what I wanted to do. But I wouldn't have felt better. And I obviously had a client that had a really important day, so I couldn't do that.
And sometimes it's just forcing doing the self-discipline of what is going on and just doing the action. You know what I mean? Like getting in, doing the action, because guess what? Sometimes we just don't want to do it. Sometimes we just don't want to adult, or, but part of being unstoppable is that self-discipline, is that self-accountability of, okay, what is going on? Let's get to the root and figure that out and move on.
Yes.
Not wallow in it.
And not have animosity and not be a victim and blame other people for how you're feeling. That's a big part of being unstoppable, is being able to be accountable to yourself for not just mistakes, but just for life. And sometimes just the smallest things you notice, oh, wow, I can't believe that's so not accountable. That's really not me holding myself accountable to, for me, mostly my self-care. I'm getting better.
You are.
I still do, work a lot, but I'm getting better about other things and taking better care of myself. So Christina is on a mission to make me be better about it.
Yes, because and you are on a mission to helping me, on the business side. I mean, that one's a big struggle for me. I have the self-care down. I got that. But it's that time, that inner peace of, and just being able to balance, to what fulfills you in all areas.
And to remain active.
Yes.
There's so much about your body. And I was reminded of a nerdy thing I read or a video about that when you said doing things you don't want to do. I wanted to go back to bed. I didn't want to go out and finish my day because the day had sucked already so far. But there's a part of your brain that keeps you young. Young people have, it's bigger. I can't remember the name of it, but it's bigger in young people and it shrinks as you get older. But there's one thing that you can do that helps it grow, and it is do things you don't want to do.
Yes.
I was surprised by that, and I said, well, that part should be gigantic. I've done so much stuff I didn't want to do my whole life, it feels like. But even on that tiny level, like I don't want to get up and see the day, or I don't want to work out, or I don't want to call that person back right now.
And that's gonna be old Deborah versus new Deborah. And also that's the difference why some people are very successful in life and why some people are not, because they just can't motivate themselves enough to do the things that need to be done in everyday life to
And
make them successful in whatever area they're in.
And I think that comes back to self-care, that they aren't taking enough care of themselves emotionally, mentally, and physically for them to be in tip-top shape. And it's hard to bring yourself out of that if you're in an unhealthy place. And so we've got a lot of guests that are going to help us get to a healthy place, with nutrition, with spirituality, with manifestation, with self-image, with business. I'm so excited about this season.
I mean, like I said, I'm so excited to hear all of the different things of different ways, like you just said, the self-care to the manifestation to the spirituality to the business side, and how they actually all play a crucial part to living your abundant and successful life.
I agree. And this season's going to be fantastic with it. I can't wait to learn from them, and really come out of the whole season feeling pretty unstoppable.
Oh, yes. And, just documenting on our way is going to be really awesome.
And we're really grateful that you guys will be along the journey with us. We are excited about this season. We'll have 25 episodes. We hope you'll tune in. We will be premiering weekly again on Tuesdays, just like last season.
Yes.
And we would love to hear from you. Please contact us and let us know what you think of the new season and any questions you have at dealswithheels.com. You can find that link and links to Christina and I's personal business websites in the show notes. And anything else?
No, I think, no.
Final words of...
My thing is, if you get anything out of this season, is to really take the time, sit with yourself, meditate. Even though I can't meditate and this and that, put on some guided meditation and meditate. Just really be with yourself. Try your hardest, even if it's 5 minutes. Try your hardest to take the time each and every day and do something for you. Remember, we can't pour from an empty cup.
That's true. And as Sadhguru says about meditation, he said, everyone's trying to get you to think this way and think that way. And the most important thing for you to do is shut up. Sit by yourself and be quiet. And just sit in the quiet. Just sit outside and don't say anything. Don't listen to music. Sit with yourself. And if you can do that once a day for 5 minutes for 30 days, your life will change in ways that you've never considered. Just sitting alone for 5 minutes in silence, which is really terrifying to a lot of people, but that's what I challenge everybody to do, to try it. Then give us an email or reach out on social media and let us know how you're feeling about that. I started doing that in addition to my normal meditation, just in silence instead of singing bowl frequency or whatever I was using at that time. And it's nice. I like it.
Oh, yes. And it's hard. I mean, especially when we have 1,000 tabs open and, I need to be doing this.
Or I could change out the laundry or all of those things come. And if they do, just let them come.
Let them come. And it's so important just to be in that moment. That's the most important thing, is just sit there in that moment for 5 minutes. It'll, like you said, 30 days. Here's your 30-day challenge, people. 5 minutes, sit with yourself, and your life will truly change and be unstoppable.
I agree. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. And until next time.
And we're out.
We're out.